My name is Ariel. I am a learner of English. I want my brain to speak in English. I want my thoughts to flow in simple English words. I know that every day gives me a chance to practice. I know that every moment is a new beginning. I wake up and I decide. Today, my brain will work in English. I start with my morning. I open my eyes. I feel the light of a new day. I stretch and I smile. I say to myself, I am awake. I will think in English. My heart beats with hope. I know that my journey to fluency starts with small steps. I do not fear mistakes. I do not fear pauses. I know that every error is a lesson. I choose to be brave. I choose to be simple. I choose to be honest with my thoughts. I remember when I first tried to think in English. I sat at my desk and I wrote simple sentences. I wrote, I wake up. I brush my teeth. I eat breakfast. My sentences were short and clear. I learned that my mind must learn to use English words directly. I must not wait for my native words to come to me and then translate. I must let English live inside me. I start with the basics. I use the 5 questions: who, what, when, where, why. I ask these questions about every part of my day. I see a man jogging. I think, who is he? I say, he is my neighbor. I ask, what is he doing? I answer, he is jogging. I ask, when does he jog? I answer, he jogs at 6 a.m. I ask, where does he jog? I say, he jogs in the park near his house. I ask, why does he jog? I say, he jogs to stay healthy. I use these simple questions to build my story. My thoughts become clear. I speak with short, clear words. I feel proud of my progress. I go to the kitchen. I see a bowl of fruit on the table. I think, what is in the bowl? I see apples, bananas, and grapes. I say, the bowl has fruit. I feel a smile on my face. I say, I like fruit. It is sweet and fresh. I think of the color of each fruit. I see the red of an apple. I see the yellow of a banana. I see the purple of grapes. I say, each fruit is a gift. I thank my family for this gift. I know that every small act is a chance to think in English. After my breakfast, I leave my home. I go out to catch the bus. I see people on the street. I see a man reading a book. I see a woman talking on her phone. I see children playing. I think, who are they? I know that each person has a story. I think in English about their lives. I say, people live and they love. I take a deep breath and I feel the wind. I feel that life is simple. I remind myself, I am thinking in English. I speak in my mind with clear, short words. I say, I walk. I ride the bus. I meet new faces. I learned that every step is a chance to use English. I feel the words come to me naturally. I work at a small office. I meet many colleagues. I use the 5 H words to describe my work. I think, who am I with? I am with my team. I ask, what do we do? I say, we design websites. I ask, when do we work? I say, we work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I ask, where do we work? I say, we work in a bright office in the city. I ask, why do we work? I say, we work to create beautiful designs and help our clients. I feel that my words are strong. I use each word with care. I listen to my colleagues. I learn new words. I say, I learn. I speak. I grow. My mind fills with English. I write notes in my notebook. I write, design is art. Design is work. Design is life. I know that these simple words build my world. I take a break at noon. I sit with a friend in the break room. I ask, how are you today? I hear a kind voice reply, I am good. I am happy. We chat in simple words. I say, I like the weather. It is sunny and warm. My friend nods and says, yes, the sun makes me smile. We talk about the day. I say, I think in English now. It is not hard. My friend smiles and says, keep it up. Practice makes perfect. I feel the warmth of our words. I know that every conversation adds strength to my mind. I feel the words build a bridge from my heart to the language of the world. In the afternoon, I return to work. I have meetings with my team. I stand in front of a group. I speak slowly. I say, I am a web designer. I create websites. I work with a great team. I use simple sentences. I speak with clear words. I say, we meet at 2 p.m. We meet in the big conference room. We discuss images and videos for our new project. I see nods and smiles. I see that my team understands me. I feel confident. I know that my brain is working in English. I use phrases like, at around 2 p.m. to show that I speak with care. I say, I know that details matter. I know that every word counts. I speak with short words. I feel like my mind is free. I feel my thoughts come out fast and clear. I say, I think in English. I speak in English. I feel that my dream is near. After work, I leave the office. I go home by bus. I see the sky turning orange. I see the trees sway gently. I say to myself, the day is ending. I have worked hard. I think of my family. I think of my routine. I think of my progress. I remember that I began this journey with a simple idea, to let English be my natural voice. I say, I have learned to think in English. I have learned to live in English. I feel a small joy in my heart. I feel the joy of progress. I feel that each day builds a new layer in my mind. At home, I spend time with my family. I have dinner with them. We sit at the table. I speak in simple words. I say, I had a good day. I worked and I learned. I met new ideas. My family listens. They smile and ask, what did you do today? I answer, I designed websites. I met my team. I spoke in English. I feel the warmth of their words. I feel that my voice matters. I say, I think in English every day. It makes me strong. I see my child look at me with wide eyes. I know that I set an example. I know that my family learns from my habit. After dinner, I spend some quiet time. I sit with my diary. I write in simple words. I write, today I woke up in English. Today I spoke in English. Today I dreamed in English. I write slowly. I write clearly. I write one short sentence after another. I say, I love English. I love my progress. I see my words fill the page. I feel that my mind is growing. I feel that every word is a step toward my dream. I write, I will practice tomorrow. I will be brave. I will speak and think in English. I feel satisfied. I close my diary and I smile. I know that my brain is learning every day. Before I sleep, I set a timer in my head. I take 5 minutes to describe the world around me. I look at the ceiling. I see the soft light. I hear the quiet hum of the night. I say, I see the stars. I feel the calm. I think in English. I tell myself, this is my time. This is my chance to grow. I let my thoughts wander. I say, the night is calm. The moon is bright. I am at peace. I feel my heart relax. I let the words flow in my mind. I know that this practice makes my brain stronger. I sleep with a clear mind. I sleep with dreams in English. I remember a time when I was not so confident. I was a student in a foreign land. I traveled to an English-speaking country. I stayed with a kind host family. In the morning, I woke with a mix of excitement and fear. I sat at the breakfast table with my host family. I felt my heart beat fast. My mind was still full of my native tongue. I tried to answer their questions in my language. I felt embarrassed. I wished I could speak in English from the start. That day was hard. I struggled. I felt that I was slow. But by the evening, I had talked with them all day. I listened to their words. I tried to speak in English. And by bedtime, I began to think in English. I dreamed in English. When I woke up the next day, I realized that my brain had changed. I was no longer trapped in translation. I was free. That was a turning point. I knew that I could learn to let English fill my mind. I set rules for myself. I decided that from then on, I would do all my fun and my work in English. I changed the language on my phone. I began to read books in English. I watched movies in English. I listened to music in English. I took every opportunity to let English become a part of my life. I learned that immersion was the key. I learned that consistency was the key. I learned that every small act mattered. I recall the simple rules I made for myself. First, I traveled to an English-speaking country as often as I could. This helped me break the habit of translation. I lived with locals and spoke with them every day. I felt that the more I listened, the faster I learned. I remembered that my mind was like a sponge. It absorbed every word and phrase. I practiced by watching short videos. I listened to podcasts that lasted only 6 minutes. I paused the video and wrote down words that came to my mind. I did not let my native language steal the words. I looked up meanings in English. I built a connection between the word and the idea in English. I learned that every new word was a brick in the wall of fluency. Second, I filled my world with English. I bought books and magazines in English. I changed my phone and computer to English. I began to use social media in English. I followed English news. I listened to English music and learned the lyrics. I even wrote my shopping list in English. I told myself, every word counts. I saw that when I consumed information in English, my mind began to think in English. I learned that fun activities like watching a movie or playing a game became more valuable when done in English. I discovered that even a simple game could be a lesson if I listened to the words carefully. Third, I made it a rule to learn new concepts directly in English. I did not try to translate ideas from my native language. When I learned about photography or cooking, I looked up the words in English. I asked questions like, "What does this word mean in English?" I used dictionaries that gave definitions in English only. I memorized phrases by associating them with images and actions. I saw that my mind was free when I learned directly in English. I felt that each new concept made my brain a little more fluent. I built a bridge between the idea and the language without the heavy load of translation. Fourth, I practiced daily. I set aside time for English every day. I did not wait for a long study session. I practiced for 5 minutes here and 10 minutes there. I practiced while on the bus, while waiting in line, and while walking. I described the world around me. I said, "I see a tall tree. I hear a bird. I feel the cool breeze." I let these simple sentences run in my mind. I discovered that by doing this every day, my brain became more agile. I noticed that my thoughts no longer had gaps. I no longer had long pauses. I spoke naturally, with the words ready on my tongue. I built a habit that was as natural as breathing. I learned that consistency, like exercise, made my mind stronger and more resilient. I recall another simple exercise. I would listen to a short podcast. I spent 1 minute listing words that I already knew about the topic. I wrote them down without thinking of my native language. I said, "I know these words in English." I then listened to the podcast with my full attention. After listening, I drew a simple map of ideas. I wrote the main ideas in short, simple sentences. I connected the words and the ideas. I spoke with my study partner about what I had heard. We discussed the topic in simple words. I saw that this exercise made my brain work. I felt that my listening and speaking improved with each practice session. I learned that active thinking was more powerful than passive listening. I let the words sink into my mind and then used them to build my story. Sometimes I used a video as my source of learning. I watched a video about fast fashion. I turned off the sound at first. I watched the images, and I wrote down what I saw in English. I said, "I see a dress. I see a factory. I see workers." I then watched the video with sound. I listened to the words. I checked the words that I had missed. I repeated the exercise. I learned that the more I repeated, the more natural it became to retrieve the words. I learned that my brain began to associate the images directly with the English words. I felt that my mental connections were growing stronger each day. I also made it a habit to speak with native speakers. I joined conversation clubs and I spoke with friends in English. I would set a timer for a few minutes and describe what I saw around me. I said, "I am on a walk. I see a busy street. I hear cars and people." I would talk about my day with a friend. I asked, "What did you do today?" I listened carefully to their answer. I replied with my own story. I learned that real conversation forced me to think quickly. I learned that the more I practiced speaking, the more fluent I became. I felt that my pauses became shorter. I felt that my mind was more agile. I learned that the challenge of speaking in real time was a reward in itself. I felt that my heart beat with pride each time I spoke without fear. I made a challenge for myself. I set a goal to write my diary entirely in English every day. I recorded my thoughts. I wrote, "Today I learned new words. Today I spoke with a friend. Today I practiced by watching a video." I kept my sentences short and clear. I did not try to be fancy. I did not worry about perfect grammar. I cared only that I thought in English. I saw my diary fill up with simple truths. I read it later, and I smiled. I saw the progress in every short sentence. I felt the pride of a mind that was learning to be free. I remember that some days were hard. I would feel tired. I would feel that my brain was not fast enough. I would pause, and then I would remember every pause is a chance to learn. I reminded myself, I will not fear silence. I will not fear mistakes. I said, every moment is a lesson. I took a deep breath and I continued. I spoke slowly. I wrote slowly. I let the words come to me naturally. I learned that the journey was long, but every step was worth it. I felt that every simple sentence, every clear thought was a brick in the foundation of fluency. My journey to think in English is like a long walk. I walk step by step. I look at each step with care. I see that my path is long. I see that every step builds my strength. I know that I must keep walking. I say, I will not stop. I will keep going. I enjoy every moment of the walk. I see the sun rise and set. I feel the cool breeze. I listen to the quiet sounds of the night. I see that my world is full of simple beauty. I use these moments to speak in English. I say, I see the world in English. I feel the world in English. I know that every observation is a chance to build my fluency. I feel that my mind is becoming like a sponge that soaks up the language. I also use my leisure time to practice. I listen to songs in English. I learn the lyrics. I sing softly in my room. I let the melody carry my words. I do not worry if I do not understand every word at first. I look up words in my dictionary. I ask, what does this word mean? I learn the meaning in English. I repeat the words. I let the song become part of my mind. I find that music is a powerful teacher. I feel the rhythm of the language. I know that every note is a word waiting to be spoken. I feel that my voice becomes stronger with each song. I see that my journey is filled with melody and words. I watch movies in English too. I choose movies with simple dialogues. I listen carefully to how the actors speak. I pause the movie when a new word comes up. I write it down. I say, this word means. I learn through repetition. I see that my understanding grows with every movie. I repeat phrases. I mimic the actors. I let their words become my own. I feel that the film is a window into a new world. I see that every scene is a chance to learn. I know that the more I watch, the more natural my speaking becomes. I see that the art of cinema is a teacher of language. I use every tool I can find. I switch my phone to English. I change the language of my computer. I set my calendar in English. I mark my appointments in simple words. I see that every notification, every alert, every message becomes a lesson. I read the news in English. I follow English blogs and social media. I know that my world becomes richer when it is full of English words. I feel that the everyday is filled with opportunity. I say, I live in English. I breathe English. I see that my world is transformed with every change. I take time to reflect on my progress. At the end of each day, I sit with my diary. I write, "Today I thought in English. Today I spoke in English. Today I learned a little more." I write in simple sentences. I do not worry about extra words. I know that each sentence is a building block. I see my diary as a map of my journey. I look back and I see the steps I have taken. I see the simple words that have built my confidence. I see the evolution of my thoughts. I know that every day is a victory. I feel proud of each moment of progress. I feel grateful for the journey that transforms my brain. I know that thinking in English is a long road. I see that there are many paths. I try many exercises. I take time to sit and simply describe my surroundings. I say, I see a blue sky. I hear a gentle wind. I feel the soft ground under my feet. I let these words fill my mind. I practice for 5 minutes every time I have a break. I know that this simple exercise makes a big difference. I learned that when I practice every day, my mind becomes accustomed to the language. I see that repetition is the key. I feel that every moment is a chance to build strength. I build strength in my mind just as I build muscle in my body. I also talk with my friends. I join small conversation groups. I speak in simple words. I say, "Hello, how are you?" I listen to their stories. I answer in clear sentences. I say, "I had a good day. I worked and I learned. I practiced speaking in English." I see that conversation is the best exercise. I feel that the more I talk, the easier it becomes. I feel that my pauses shorten. I see that my ideas come faster. I learn that conversation is a living practice. I build my fluency with every word exchanged. I feel that my heart grows stronger with every conversation. I recall that there was a time when my mind was slow. I was afraid of mistakes. I hesitated to speak. I felt trapped in a cycle of translation. I would think in my native language first, then I would try to convert my thoughts to English. That was hard. It made me slow and unsure. I remember that day clearly. I sat in a room full of people. I felt the eyes on me. I tried to speak. I paused too long. I could not find the words. I felt embarrassed. I felt weak. But I learned from that day. I learned that every pause is a lesson. I learned that every mistake is a chance to improve. I learned that fear is only a part of the journey. I chose to let go of my fear. I chose to speak. I chose to think in English. I chose to be brave. I set small challenges for myself. One day, I decided that I would describe my entire day in English. I wrote, I woke up. I brushed my teeth. I ate breakfast. I took the bus. I worked with my team. I had a lunch break. I spoke with my friend. I returned home. I had dinner with my family. I wrote in my diary. I took a walk. I listened to music. I watched a movie. I went to sleep. I did not worry about extra details. I kept my words short and clear. I felt that this exercise was a map of my progress. I saw that every day was a chance to build my fluency. I learned that when I described my day, my mind learned to connect ideas in English. I felt that my thoughts became smoother and more natural. I felt that every challenge was a victory over the old habit of translation. I also try to expand my vocabulary. When I see a new word, I do not rush to translate it. I let it sit with me. I say, "This word is new. I will learn it in English." I look up its meaning in an English dictionary. I see the word used in a sentence. I write the sentence in my diary. I then use the word in my own sentence. I say, "I learned a new word today. It is impressive." I say, "My progress is impressive." I see that each new word is a tool in my toolbox. I build my sentences with these tools. I learn that every word, no matter how simple, is important. I feel that my vocabulary grows with every practice. I learn that when my words are clear, my mind is clear. I remember that learning to think in English is like building a bridge. Each word is a plank on that bridge. I must place each plank carefully. I must not rush. I must build a sturdy path. I practice every day. I check each word. I listen to how native speakers say the words. I repeat them until they feel natural. I record my voice. I listen to my recordings. I compare my speech to the native speakers. I feel that each repetition is a step toward mastery. I see that my bridge grows stronger with every practice session. I know that someday I will cross that bridge easily and naturally. I sometimes set a timer for a short speaking session. I say, "For the next 5 minutes, I will speak only in English." I look around me. I describe the room. I say, "I see a chair. I see a table. I see a window. I see a clock." I continue. I feel the air. I hear the quiet hum of the city. I see the soft light of the evening. I let my voice fill the space. I let my words flow without stopping. I know that these short sessions build my strength. I feel that my mind becomes agile with each 5-minute exercise. I learn that even a small amount of daily practice makes a big difference over time. I find that every tool I use to practice adds a new layer to my learning. I use my phone to set reminders in English. I use my computer to read articles. I use the internet to watch educational videos. I join online groups where people share their progress. I see that every notification, every message, and every piece of content becomes part of my language world. I feel that my life is now filled with English. I see that the more I immerse myself, the faster I learn. I say, "I live in English. I breathe English. I think in English." I also join conversation clubs online. I meet with people who share the same dream. We speak in English for short sessions. We talk about our day. We share our challenges and our victories. I listen to their stories. I share my own. I say, "I am learning to think in English." It is not always easy, but I am proud of my progress. I hear words of encouragement. I feel that our group is a family of learners. We support each other. We celebrate every small win. I feel that our conversations are a safe place where mistakes are accepted and every effort is cherished. I learned that speaking with others is the best way to overcome fear. I have also learned that thinking in English is not about perfection. It is about expression. I do not need to have every word perfect. I know that every sentence I form is a step toward my goal. I learn that my journey is filled with ups and downs. I face moments of doubt. I face moments when my mind feels slow, but I remind myself, I will keep trying. I will keep speaking. I will keep thinking in English. I see that my progress is measured by my persistence. I feel that every day I grow stronger. I feel that every mistake teaches me something new. I know that each error is not a failure but a lesson. I also use creative exercises to build my fluency. I take a favorite song and I try to write down its lyrics. I listen carefully and I pause when I need to. I write the words in English. I learn new expressions and new rhythms. I sing along softly. I feel that the song becomes a part of my language. I use the melody to remember the words. I find that music is a gentle teacher that helps my mind connect with English in a playful way. I enjoy every moment of this exercise. I feel that every new word from a song is a treasure in my language chest. I sometimes choose a book to read. I pick a book that has short sentences and clear words. I read one page at a time. I pause, and I think about the meaning of each sentence. I write down new words. I form simple sentences with those words. I say, I read a book. I learn a word. I build a sentence. I feel that reading slowly builds my understanding. I see that each page adds a new brick to my language building. I feel that my mind becomes stronger and more confident with every word I read. I know that the book is my friend and my teacher. I cherish every lesson from its pages. I also enjoy watching videos that have short segments. I choose videos that are clear and focused on one topic. I watch the first minute without sound to absorb the images. I then watch with sound to listen to the words. I write down the main ideas in my notebook. I say, the video shows a factory. It shows workers. It shows a process. I let the images and the words come together in my mind. I learned that visual cues help me remember words. I know that every video is a chance to connect words with images. I see that my mind starts to link these ideas naturally. I feel that the exercise builds my language pathways. I also challenge myself with a special task. I take my daily planner and I write all my activities in English. I mark the times and I write simple sentences. I say, at 7 a.m. I wake up. At 7:30 a.m. I eat breakfast. At 8 a.m. I leave home. I use numbers and simple words to build a schedule. I see that my day is filled with clear tasks. I feel that my brain learns the structure of time in English. I know that every appointment and every reminder is a small sentence in my diary. I see that consistency in writing builds fluency. I remind myself, every day I write in English. I think in English. I live in English. I take time to review my progress. At the end of the week, I sit and read my diary. I see all the simple sentences I have written. I see that I have grown. I see that I have learned new words and built new habits. I feel a deep sense of satisfaction. I know that every day of practice adds up to something great. I say, I have done well. I will continue tomorrow. I set new goals. I plan new exercises. I feel that my journey is never ending and full of promise. I know that my journey is personal and unique. I know that every learner has a different path. I see that some days are filled with ease. I see that some days are hard. I accept that every day is a lesson. I do not compare myself with others. I only compare my progress with my past self. I say, I was slower before. I am faster now. I am growing every day. I feel proud of each step I take. I know that my brain is learning to think in English in its own time. I trust the process. I celebrate the small victories. I believe that every moment counts. I have learned many ways to train my brain. I use speaking exercises, listening exercises, writing exercises, and reading exercises. I practice every chance I get. I know that consistency is like exercise for my mind. I see that if I do not practice, my skills weaken. I understand that every day must be dedicated to growth. I set aside a few minutes here and there. I use every idle moment to practice. I remind myself that my mind is a muscle that needs regular training. I lift the weight of every new word. I run the course of every sentence. I build my strength with each conversation. I feel that every moment spent in English makes me more fluent. I embrace the fact that thinking in English is a journey without an end. I know that there is always something new to learn. I know that language is vast and ever-changing. I feel that my progress is continuous. I see that every new word, every new phrase, every new idea is a door to a new world. I feel that my mind becomes a vast library of simple yet powerful words. I know that each day brings a new lesson. I say, today I learn. Today I speak. Today I think in English. I build my world with these small sentences. I trust that my future will be bright and full of clear words. I also allow myself to be creative. I sometimes write a short story in English. I keep my sentences short. I write, once there was a girl. She loved the sun. She danced in the rain. She sang with the birds. I let the words tell a story that is simple and pure. I know that creativity is a part of learning. I feel that every story I write is a piece of my heart shared in English. I see that these stories build bridges between my thoughts and the language. I feel free when I write. I feel that my ideas come naturally when I do not worry about mistakes. I let my creativity flow in a simple, unburdened way. I see that each story is a treasure that enriches my vocabulary and my confidence. I remember that one day I sat in a quiet park. I looked at the trees and the sky. I heard the soft sound of leaves rustling. I felt the gentle warmth of the sun. I took out a small notebook and began to write in English. I said, I see tall trees. I hear soft whispers. I feel calm. I think in English. I wrote every detail with short, clear words. I described the blue sky, the green grass, and the birds flying by. I let my mind work freely. I saw that every observation was a lesson. I felt that my connection with the world grew stronger when I used English to describe it. I learned that nature is a perfect teacher of simple beauty. I thank the trees and the birds in my thoughts, all in English. I sometimes set aside an hour for deep study. I choose a topic that interests me. I read an article in English. I underline new words. I try to understand their meaning from the context. I then look up the definitions in an English dictionary. I write the definitions in simple words. I then form a sentence with each new word. I say, "The word is impressive. It means something that makes me feel proud. My work is impressive." I let the new words build bridges in my mind. I repeat the exercise with another article. I see that every new topic is an opportunity to grow. I learned that deep study is a way to build my vocabulary and my confidence. I feel that each article I read makes my mind richer. I also use technology to help me. I use language apps that are designed to build vocabulary through simple exercises. I listen to the app's audio and repeat the words. I say, "I learn this word. I say this word." I use the app every day. I see that it gives me small challenges. I enjoy the small tests. I see that the scores improve slowly. I feel that every test is a chance to celebrate my progress. I know that every tool is part of my journey. I trust that each tool helps me grow stronger in English. I remind myself that the goal is not to be perfect, but to be understood. I know that clear words and simple thoughts are enough. I say, "I speak my truth in English." I do not worry about fancy words or long sentences. I know that simplicity is power. I know that the best stories are told in simple words. I believe that my journey is not about perfection, but about progress. I learn that every word I speak is a step toward my dream. I feel that the simplicity of my language is a gift. I feel that my mind is clear and my heart is open. I trust that with each day, I become a better speaker. I trust that my brain learns to think in English more naturally. I trust the process. I often reflect on my progress. I look at the days when I hesitated. I remember the times when I paused too long. I see the difference between then and now. I feel gratitude for every moment of struggle. I know that every challenge was a teacher. I see that my mind has learned to bypass the long route of translation. I now form thoughts directly in English. I see that my world is filled with clear, bright ideas. I feel that every day is a new chapter in my story. I know that my journey to think in English is a lifelong gift. I am proud of my progress, and I know that I will continue to grow. I tell my friends about my journey. I share with them the small steps I take each day. I say, I wake up and I decide to think in English. I listen to songs, I read articles, and I write my thoughts in a diary. I see that my story inspires them. I see that many of them also want to learn. I invite them to join me in simple exercises. We set a challenge together. We speak in English for 5 minutes. We describe what we see and what we feel. We ask each other, "What did you learn today?" We share our new words and our simple sentences. I feel that our group grows stronger. I see that community and support are important. I know that every friend who practices with me is a treasure in my language journey. I also watch my progress in the mirror. I look at my eyes and I see determination. I see that every day I have a little more spark in my smile. I see that my confidence grows with every conversation. I tell myself, I am learning. I am improving. I am becoming fluent. I do not compare myself with others. I only compare my present self with my past self. I see the growth in every short sentence I form. I feel that every day is a celebration of my will to learn. I trust that my hard work will pay off. I trust that every moment of practice builds a better me. I also explore creative writing. I sometimes write a poem in simple English. I write, "Sunrise paints the sky. I wake with hope. Words flow like rivers, gentle and clear. I am a learner, brave and true. English sings in my heart, every day anew." I feel that the poem is a song from my mind. I see that creativity makes language fun. I learn that even simple rhymes can help me remember words. I know that every creative piece is a step forward. I share my poem with friends. They smile and say, "Your words are beautiful." I feel that my heart grows with every compliment. I see that creativity is a way to make my brain think in English with joy. I set aside moments of quiet reflection. I turn off all distractions. I sit with a cup of tea. I look outside the window at the night sky. I think about my day. I say, "Today I learned. Today I spoke. Today I dreamed in English." I let my thoughts be free and simple. I know that silence is powerful. I know that when my mind is quiet, it can absorb new words and ideas more clearly. I feel that these moments of quiet are a gift. I treasure every second of silence. I know that silence is not empty. It is filled with the potential for new words. I feel that in the quiet, my mind finds strength. I believe that my journey to think in English is like a garden. I plant seeds of words every day. I water them with practice. I let them grow with patience and care. I see that every word blooms into a clear idea. I feel that my mind becomes a field of vibrant expressions. I know that some seeds grow slowly, but each one is important. I cherish every new word that blossoms in my mind. I see that the garden of my thoughts is diverse and full of life. I know that every day I tend to this garden. I speak, I write, I listen, and I learn. I nurture my language with love and effort. I often remember the early days when my thoughts were tangled. I remember the long pauses and the fear of speaking. I recall the moments when I would start a sentence and then stop. I see that those moments are behind me now. I have learned that practice makes the mind nimble. I have learned that every short sentence builds confidence. I see that my brain now works in English without heavy translation. I feel that my progress is steady and true. I remind myself that every day is a new chance to improve. I say, I am growing. I am learning. I am thinking in English. I feel that my journey is not measured by perfect sentences, but by the courage to try. I also use a special method when I feel stuck. I set a timer for a short period. I look around me and I describe everything I see. I say, I see a window. I see a chair. I see a table. I speak slowly and with care. I let my mind choose the words without thinking of translation. I feel that this exercise loosens the grip of my native language. I feel that every moment I spend in this way makes my brain more agile. I know that even a few minutes of focused speaking can change my entire day. I trust that every small effort adds up to a big change. I remind myself, keep going. You are doing well. I feel that these small challenges make my journey exciting. I also take the time to celebrate my milestones. When I think in English without a pause, I smile. When I speak a sentence perfectly, I cheer. I keep a journal of my small victories. I write, today I spoke in English all day. Today I dreamed in English. Today I did not translate even once. I read my journal and I see the progress in black and white. I feel that every word is a step forward. I know that my journey is filled with both struggles and successes. I learn to appreciate every moment. I know that even on hard days, there is progress. I trust that each day makes me better. I feel that my heart is light and my mind is free. I remind myself that learning to think in English is a choice. It is a choice to live fully in the language. I choose every morning to let English guide my thoughts. I choose to see the world in English. I choose to speak simple words that carry deep meaning. I know that this choice is mine and that I control my own progress. I feel that every decision I make adds to my strength. I say, I am the master of my mind. I am the builder of my future. I trust that with every word, I build a brighter tomorrow. I remember that my journey is not only for me, but for those who look up to me. I have friends, family, and fellow learners who see my progress. I share my story with them. I tell them about the small exercises I do. I show them my diary and my list of new words. I invite them to join me in speaking challenges. I say, let us speak together. Let us learn together. Let us think in English together. I feel that my journey is a shared journey. I know that when many minds come together, the strength grows. I see that community is the heart of language learning. I feel that every conversation with a friend builds not only my fluency, but also our bonds. I also use every day as an opportunity to reflect on the beauty of English. I take a moment to listen to a simple poem, a short story, or a clear news report. I let the words sink into my mind. I feel that English is not just a language, but a way to see the world. I see that every word carries a weight of history and emotion. I appreciate the art in every sentence. I say, English is my friend. English is my guide. English is my world. I feel that the more I open my mind, the more I understand that language is a living, breathing part of life. I know that every new experience in English enriches my soul. I continue to build my skills with every passing day. I use each moment wisely. I see that my brain is gradually shifting. I feel that I am no longer bound by the need to translate every word. I think directly in English. I speak with ease. I write with clarity. I feel that my thoughts are free and clear. I know that this journey is long and sometimes hard, but I trust that every small effort counts. I remind myself, slow progress is still progress. Each small step builds a staircase to fluency. I hold this truth in my heart. I trust that every day, with every word, I grow stronger. I use simple tools like sticky notes to label items in my home. I write the English word for each object. I see the note on the door, on the table, on the chair. I repeat the word in my head: door, table, chair. I let these words become a part of my everyday life. I see that each label is a gentle reminder to think in English. I learned that the more I see the words, the more my mind absorbs them. I feel that my environment is a classroom. I trust that every small sign is a teacher. I know that my home is full of learning opportunities. I see that even the simplest things have their English names. I say, I am surrounded by English. I feel that my world is an open book of words waiting to be read. I also take time to review old notes. I open my diary and I read my past entries. I see the early attempts and the later improvements. I feel a surge of pride. I know that my hard work has paid off. I see that my sentences are clearer now. I see that my words are more confident. I say, I have come so far. I will go even further. I let this reflection fill me with hope. I understand that every moment of struggle was a seed planted in my mind. I know that now those seeds have grown into a garden of English thoughts. I feel that my past is a treasure that shows my growth. I see that each day, no matter how small, has added to my strength. I also set goals for the future. I write in my diary, tomorrow I will try to speak without hesitation. Tomorrow I will use 5 new words in conversation. Tomorrow I will listen to a podcast and write a summary. I see these goals as stepping stones. I know that each goal is achievable. I trust that with every day I will meet my targets. I feel that my journey is guided by clear intentions. I say, I have a plan, I have a purpose, I will succeed. I build my confidence one goal at a time. I see that success is not measured by perfection, but by the courage to keep trying. I know that every small goal met is a victory for my brain. I remind myself that my journey is unique. I do not compare my path with others. I know that each learner has a different pace. I focus on my own progress. I see that every word I speak is mine. I celebrate my individuality. I say, I am unique. My journey is my own. I think in English in my own way. I feel that my voice is special. I trust that my simple words are enough to express my truth. I know that authenticity is the key to real communication. I feel that when I speak from my heart, my English flows naturally. I build my language with honesty and simplicity. I also allow myself moments of rest. I know that my mind needs to recharge. I take short breaks to meditate and relax. I sit in silence and let my thoughts wander. I do not force words. I simply enjoy the peace. I say, I rest. I breathe. I am calm. I know that rest is part of the journey. I feel that when I rest, my mind is ready for new words. I trust that balance is important. I balance practice with quiet reflection. I feel that this balance makes my progress sustainable. I know that every part of my day, whether filled with words or silence, builds my fluency. I let each night be a time of gratitude. I thank the day for its lessons. I say, "Thank you, day, for teaching me new words. Thank you, day, for giving me moments of joy." I let my heart be full of gratitude for every simple experience. I know that gratitude makes the mind open. I trust that when I am thankful, I remember to speak in English. I feel that every thankful word is a spark that lights my journey. I go to sleep with a peaceful mind. I dream in simple, clear English. I know that my dreams carry the language into my heart. My journey to think in English is long and beautiful. I know that each day is a gift. I see that every small step matters. I feel that every simple sentence builds my future. I trust that my consistent practice will bring me closer to fluency. I see that every challenge is an opportunity. I know that I am growing with every word. I remind myself, I think in English, I speak in English, I live in English. I feel that my brain is becoming strong and free. I know that my journey is filled with love, courage, and hope. I now look back at my day. I see the moments of clarity. I see the simple words that flowed. I feel the power of my progress. I know that my brain is learning to speak in English. I see that every sentence is a brick in the wall of my new life. I remember the early challenges and the triumphs. I see that my progress is steady and true. I trust that tomorrow will be another day of growth. I say to myself, I will wake up and I will think in English again. I feel ready for the new day. I know that my journey continues with every sunrise and every smile. I close my eyes and I feel a deep sense of peace. I feel that I have given my best. I feel that every moment of practice has built a part of me. I know that my journey is not finished. I know that there is always more to learn. I trust that each day will bring new words and new ideas. I see that my brain now dances with English. I feel that the simple sentences I form are my music. I know that my heart sings in the language of my dreams. I rest with the hope that every tomorrow will be brighter, every word clearer, and every thought naturally in English. I end my day with gratitude and a promise. I promise myself that I will keep learning. I promise that I will speak, write, and think in English every day. I promise that I will face every challenge with a brave heart and a clear mind. I promise that I will not stop until my brain sings in English without pause. I feel that this promise is the light that guides me. I know that the journey may be long, but every step is worth the effort. I trust that with persistence, my thoughts will become fluent, and my words will flow like a gentle stream. I fall asleep with a smile, knowing that I have built another day in the garden of English. I feel that my mind is a home for clear, simple, and honest words. I know that every simple sentence is a victory. I trust that my journey is marked by progress, not perfection. I close my eyes and I dream in English. I dream of a future where my thoughts are free and my words are unbound. I know that my brain is learning to think in English with every sunrise and every quiet moment of reflection. I wake up tomorrow with the same promise. I wake up with a clear mind and a hopeful heart. I know that I will rise and speak in English again. I know that every new day is a fresh start. I know that the simple sentences I form will build a life of fluency. I feel that my journey is a series of small steps, each one leading me closer to my goal. I trust that every word I speak is a testament to my effort and my passion. I know that I am on the path to thinking in English naturally and freely. My story is one of patience and persistence. It is a story of simple words and clear ideas. It is a story of a journey that starts with a single sentence and grows into a life filled with English. I see that every time I speak, every time I write, every time I listen, I am building a new habit. I know that my brain is changing. I know that my life is filled with new opportunities because I have chosen to think in English. I see that my journey is a long road, but every step is filled with the promise of a brighter tomorrow. I remind myself that my journey is a work in progress. I know that some days will be easier and some days will be harder. I understand that every challenge is a chance to learn. I embrace each mistake as a lesson. I celebrate every small success. I hold on to the truth that consistency is the key to building fluency. I know that when I look back, I will see the beauty of my progress in every simple sentence, every clear thought,